Welcome to the Riders Lounge. I'm Mark Fawcett.
And I'm Shane Johnsen.
And on today's episode, the new Union Reset Pro.
All right, so Fozzie just got back from Italy. I'm jealous again. Quick zip across the pond. I know.
It's open, dude. Open invitation.
What's the lake called?
Lake Como.
Yeah, I got to check that. He sends me photos when he's there. He's making me jealous. Somebody's also got to do business and run the shop. And,
that's no fun.
Yeah, well, it's... Kids, don't listen to Fawcett. Running a business is 50% fun. 50% fun. But yeah, Fozzie just back from Italy, as I said, and you've been lucky enough to be a part of this for a little while. These are mine. I just received mine. This is the newest version. We've seen a few versions come through. We've got a slightly older version here just to show you the probably my favorite colorway of this series. That's killer. Couple changes from this to here. We're now into the production model.
The real deal production model, yeah. But I mean, really small changes in this era, but we'll show you some we're going to show you some of the
well, you got to interview somebody who was completely
hands-on from the beginning. Yes. A boot like this, you do not whip this together in a year.
No, this has been years.
Yeah, this has been years in the making, and obviously, visually, even a very different concept on how to construct a snowboard boot.
Well, strikingly different. So the first thing you see is there isn't a lot of differing materials, and there isn't a lot of glue. That was the first thing I saw. You kind of look this boot over. You've got that one continuous stitch, really limiting the stitching, which is a breakdown zone. Really limiting the glue, which is always problematic because it's a flex out or a pop out or whatever. It's another breakdown spot. Yep. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I jumped into these. This liner is damn good. And I had a good quick chat with Tony. You guys have seen Tony on other episodes with us from Capita and Union. He's the rep out here. And he was saying this is a non-heat moldable liner. This is a break-in liner. So your feet are hot. Your feet heat mold, but we're not putting stackers on this liner. And getting into it, I was impressed.
Yeah, absolutely. And it actually has some legit memory foam in where your J bars normally would be.
In the Achilles zone.
And that to hold your sort of heel down in there. And so that's kind of groundbreaking too. Because it springs back every evening. They fluff right back up, which is pretty
So you're
cool.
pressure fitting all day.
All day.
And it's the movement of your riding, which is what you want. And then, cool, and then kind of springs back to its... Very well. How many days do you think you've
I got about 35 days on these.
So this is Fawcett's boot that he rode for 35 days.
The rest of the time, of course, in my step-ons. But I put a lot of miles on these. And so here's the coolest thing, is that out of the box, I would call this from a stiffness perspective, forward stiffness perspective, I'd call it a 7.
Yep.
After 35 days, this is probably at 6.95.
Yeah.
Where normally in 35 days, I have a boot that's a 7 in stiffness. It's a 4.5.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
I usually get it down to that in about 15 days.
Well, that's interesting. So a lot of people have initially said too, oh, well, there's no articulating cuff. Well, part of that, if you look at this exoskeleton, that is so supportive, but then there is a relief spot there. Gives you the flexation, but it's not going to break down.
Well, the load is really carried in the shell. The shell carries the load, and it's a real deal shell. It's a funny story. I always thought through the last 20 years that traditional, snowboard boots, whether it's the tongue or spots like that, I always thought there was plastic in there. There's none. It's all different densities of EVA foam and glue and some stitching, etc. And of course it's going to break down. The reason they struggled with going to something like this was creating it where on day one it was still just a 7 instead of like a 13 in stiffness.
Because a lot of guys were building a boot here to then have it break down after your 30 days. But from a retail standpoint or a rider standpoint, you get into that boot initially in a store and you're just like, wow, how am I going to snowboard in these things?
It's the age-old thing.
And
it's
it's
either it's a
gone right
brick,
away.
it's
Yeah.
a brick, it's too stiff.
Yep.
And then you try on the ones you're like in the shop, and you're like, oh yeah, these are the ones. 10 days in, they're down at like a 3,
They're
and
cooked
you're
and they're
shoveling the
pudding.
driveway with them.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know?
yeah.
So that was like the whole concept to this was to create, and there's a bunch of other aspects about this that I love, but create a hard shell that's going to carry the load of the stiffness of the boot so that it doesn't, you don't have to go through 2-3 sets of boots a year, which a lot of hot shot riders, definitely 2 pairs of boots a year.
Oh yeah, we've seen it
Yeah.
often, right? Well, and just breaking this down to having, the shell itself, but there's not a lot of components, like I said. So this exoskeleton's very low volume. You look here, you just look overall at even the footprint. This, I put on my 8.5, and another thing I should say, just getting into them, you feel the return, the rebound, the spring of this immediate, which was really cool. And then knowing that Fawcett's done, and Fawcett's no joke, Fawcett's a powerful rider, so if Mark can do that many days on that and still have an exoskeleton that's rebounding, doing its job,
100%. Yeah.
that's where I'm like, okay, this is making sense as a redesign overall, and maybe that articulating cuff that everybody talks about isn't such a big deal, right? So
It depends on the design of the boot and where you want to carry the load.
yeah, it's not
For
needed
sure.
here. It is
For
not
sure.
needed
So it's
here.
totally different. Another real benefit, and you just tapped on it, was that it's a lower volume boot.
Yeah, this-
visually again.
Yeah.
Like, this is a 10. And I mean, it's really low volume. It's also anatomically designed. So you can actually see a bit of an Achilles here, a heel pocket here, where a lot of boots are pretty much a stovepipe all the way down. The other thing is your soft liner on a traditional boot pushes against a soft outer shell, it just blows out. So people that are having heel lift issues, no wonder. Soft against soft, there's nothing for those J-bars to push against. This, so this, I called this, okay, day one, after my first morning on these, and I reported back to the guys, and the first thing I said was industry-leading heel hold. I said it straight away. I was like, man, I didn't even have to do these up that tight, and my heel was all locked.
And I noticed that right away too, but not in the aggressive sense that some of
No.
those boots have been, and that's choice of materials in the liner.
It's got something to push against.
Yeah,
It's got something to push
and
against.
it's not moving
Yeah.
outwards. Yeah.
So
That's
here were my
interesting.
things. I said industry-leading heel hold, really good board feel. So like I felt that gas pedal like super well. So very responsive to the to foot movements. So it's not, even though you look at this and some people are like, ooh, that looks like it might be kind of stiff, it's not. You can walk in these fine, they flex, but that bottom, like really good feel of the binding. And then for me, the biggest thing is this boot actually needs to almost come with like 2 flexes. Forward flex, it's a 7. Lateral flex, it's a 5.
Nice.
And what most people put on a boot, all the other boots out there, if it's a 7, it's a 7, 7, 7, like it's a 7, 360
Yeah,
degrees.
this is giving you.
And
that.
when people jump in at the shop, you're doing your carpet test at the shop or at your house, and you jump in, the first thing you'll feel if the boots feel like bricks, it's because they don't move laterally, and they keep you like, they keep you
you
super
can't
splayed
stand the
apart.
way
You
you
can't,
need to.
you can't relax your knees in. You certainly aren't going to be able to do, freestyle moves that you want to as well. But this was by design. I wish they'd talk about that more. But I know Travis, for instance, who had a big part in this boot, he really likes soft boots laterally. So
Well, you look at Gigi too. Gigi's riding as well, and a lot of the other guys that are on it. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
So this is stiff-ish, a 7, which I think is like really the sweet spot for performance riding. It's a 7, and it like kind of catches you. It's a little bit more progressive because of the plastic and the structure. It's a little bit more progressive than a lot of boots that start out kind of okay and then collapse. this one will kind of stiffen up a little bit as you sink into it. But then laterally, the other thing laterally, depending what binding you're using, hopefully a union with it. I mean, it works obviously.
Well, yeah.
It just settles into a union platform really, really well. But there's a touch more room here for the boot to be able to roll. So one thing I noticed
that in my Ultras right away. I've
oh, in
test
the
fit
Ultras,
these into the Ultras.
in the Ultras, you're gonna find that even more. I think it's a great boot for an Ultra.
I like that. It's just my medial lateral movement. I like a lot, as you know,
Yeah.
and because I'm riding hard angles, I need more. So that's, and I should quickly say, a 7 in this boot wasn't a 7 in some of the other boots I've tried. Like I did find the fore and aft to be a little bit stiffer than I think the Nidecker Rift, say, even though they're comparable numbers. So that's the thing. We always throw out these numbers, but everybody's kind of a little bit different because it's the numbers how they fall in their catalog.
In their
right?
catalog, because I'd say it's not a 7.5 for me. I mean, it's a 7, a 6 3/4 to 7.
And I'd almost say 7.5, but again, I'm smaller body mass too. But I would say, you know, the side to side, I'd probably still give that closer to a 6 maybe, because it's hard to say.
Yeah,
It's really hard
for
to
me,
say.
I'm like,
You're a
it's
powerful
a 7,
dude, right?
it's a 5.
And, yeah.
Especially coming from step-on. Step-on, your lateral is like pretty firm, like really progressive and firm. So for this to be able to like move in laterally so nice and easy. The one thing I did do, I moved my stance out a 1/2 inch.
Because you can again.
Because I can. Oh, I needed to. I felt, you know, with my step-ons, with them being stiff laterally, I needed to be
Narrower.
closer in. And then, with these, I did move my stance out, but loved it. It worked great. So I had those. I had all those initial things like right away. Great feel, industry-leading heel hold, a big differential for sure. Even if it's a 7.5 to a 6.
Well, and I'm trying to brand new one too,
it's
right?
still a differential.
Oh yeah, you do notice.
But here's the thing: is you're saying I'm trying a brand new one, like
well, it's still going to be that in 35 days.
In 35 days, it's like 500 or 0.05% of a percent, or what would it be?
A fraction.
A fraction.
A fraction.
Yeah, it's going to go
less.
from 7 to 6.95.
All right, so getting the liner out of the shell now, super easy. Always want to dry them separately too, end of day, so you don't get the stank foot or the stank liner. But one thing we really want to key in on too, Union's designed a very low volume shell. They didn't skimp out on the liner anywhere. It's not like this is a thinned out liner system or anything like that. And like Fawzy was explaining too, this Achilles area, when you can really feel it, once you get this liner out and actually feel where that's going to engage, and then knowing that you're not going to get that blowout, heel hold is incredible. We don't have to heat mold these. They're going to be pressure fit with the heat of your foot riding, which is also amazing, and lots of volume in the toe there.
Tons of like surprising
Lots
amount.
of volume.
Yeah.
So you can wiggle those toes.
And this is a hand stitched. Essentially, has come from like the race world, and it's designed super specifically for this boot and this concept and this shell. So it is a little different than a standard snowboard boot liner that you're seeing. A lot of those are pretty bulky to deal with, a big bulky shell, etc. But like you don't feel hard spots or anything in this. It's like pure comfort, and just a better. It's a performance feel all the way through.
And again, it's like first impressions. I just got in these 3-4 days ago, this new version, and comfort right away. But you're right, just you're gripped here, but not in an aggressive way. There's still comfort's key with me. It's that's always my thing with any boot. And my initial impression,
which is good because I'm all about performance.
Yeah, you'll cram into everything.
I'll do whatever, it doesn't matter. But that's the thing for me with this boot is I got a really strong feel. Yeah. I got a really strong reaction and great heel hold. I don't have to crank the hell out of these laces where I normally crank everything down to keep my heel in. I don't have to do it with this boot.
And that's to the point of the laces. Of course, industry standard, working with BOA. We've got an H4 here, H4 coiler, and an H4 on the side. I wouldn't expect any less on something like this. But yeah, I mean, that's our impressions. Fawzy's got a lot of days, but you also got to spend a lot of time at Union and, you know, speaking with the crew on this. So
Definitely, and you know, I was privileged enough to get a few iterations of these prototypes,
yeah.
starting like this time last year, actually, and did a little bit of correspondence work with the design crew there, and with Angelo in particular, and I grilled him on everything and had him run me through the progression of first version to final version the other day when I was over there in Italy. So let's check that out. I'm here at Union HQ in Dalebio, Italy, with Angelo, and we're going to go through Union's new project, the boot, the Reset Pro, and you know, he's the lead designer on these, and I want to see the evolution, like what it takes to go through, how many prototypes, what you did to arrive at this boot. Yeah. So, I mean, first of all, what is, like, in a short couple of sentences, what is the general concept about this boot versus all the other snowboard boots out there?
Well, the general concept is for sure duration over time, durability over time, and keeping consistent the performance over time for this boot, and also the anatomical shape, the anatomical shaping of all the parts of the boot to keep the foot locked in through all the day.
So trying to use more of the boot structure, instead of straps
instead of straps and laces and everything. So the basics for this boot is, of course, the shell. You can see the out shell in high performance plastic material, PBEX. And this shell is shaped anatomically, especially in the ankle area and the ankle socket, in order to lock the foot inside. So the shell, anatomically shaped, working together with the liner, gives an uncompared heel lock inside the boot.
I would agree with that. From riding it for better part of a year, I would totally agree with that. I would, you know, being a Canadian, I'm going to say it fits more like a hockey skate than a snowboard boot, but not in at all a bad way.
Nice.
And then for the, let's just walk through first of all, how many years ago did this project really start? When was the first prototype constructed?
Well, the first prototypes maybe is 4 years old. Yeah, but for sure this project is cooking in someone's mind since like earlier than that.
Yeah,
for sure, yeah. And the first prototypes that were meant to like lead to the final product was born around 3 to 4 years ago. So we used a lot our prototyping machines, 3D printer. You can see from very early stages, just concepts of the shell and an upper with the sewings and everything.
This is amazing. I just want to show people that these hooks are 3D printed. So this is all, including the hooks, all just one big piece that was 3D printed. And then you stitch the panels in where you want it softer, of course. Because I mean that's a pretty good prototype right there. Like that was close right from the start.
And then we actually built some to test in the early stages. We designed everything and perfected everything from the heels to the side wings, the forward lean, the shape on the sides.
And again, is that all still 3D printed, or was that a
mold?
This
is actually from a mold.
That one's
one of the early molds. And coming through these phases, we arrived to the latest design. First, of course, 3D printed, which led to the final one, as you can see here. So, yeah. With the hole for the BOA housing and everything. And through all these stages, we arrived to this, and then to the mold, to the full series sizes.
And here's a question. because this is interesting. Is this just a standard machine that stitches this together?
Of course not, but it's a special machine. It's a special machine, a special process, which needs to be set up in all his phases to get the upper sew to the shell. So yeah, special machine.
Gotcha. Super cool. So many. I mean, this is just a part of the prototype, and there's some other boots in there too, and a big mix. Now, so that's all the outer.
Mm-hmm.
What about and knowing that this is something quite different than anything else on the market. What did you do in the liner to match with this boot?
As you know, current boots and current liners don't really have an anatomical shaping. They're more like a tube, then gets thermoformed, then gets in some way shaped to match the foot. We wanted to follow another path. So the concept is starting from the shell, which is shaped anatomically, do the same thing on the liner. So the liner goes inside and matches the shell from the inside, and it is padded inside with some memory foam material that shapes around the foot. So you don't need to like thermoforming and other stuff, but just the material shapes around the foot and then comes back to its original shape. When you go in again, it shapes around your foot again. That's the concept of the memory foam, basically. All this back part, where it matters the most, on the ankles area, on the heel, and up until the top, is made by that material. And also the tongue, to give an uncompared comfort. And basically, the key concept, again, it's the anatomical shape, so form around your foot. Yeah.
I would say that these are they're lighter, for sure, and maybe in some areas thinner than a standard liner.
Yes, they are. They are for sure thinner than standard liners. Yeah. But using this high performance memory foam material, you don't really feel that.
Yeah.
As a minus.
Not to mention, because I felt because the shell is so much more anatomically correct compared to the stovepipe standard snowboard boots out there, which work well.
Sure.
But that you don't need to fill it all in with all this extra liner. And then are these hand stitched mostly too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
they are.
That's a process. There's some craftsmanship going on.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Cool. Well, thank you so much for your time. Anything else you want to add about these?
No.
Is there something we missed?
I think it's everything is there. I mean, one thing that many testers noticed, as you can see on the background here, we have few of the boots we tested with riders and instructors and so on. They notice a lot the constant performance, let's say, of the boot. I mean, you don't need like 2 weeks to break in the boot, but it's kind of breaks in like in one day or two, so much less time needed than a standard boot. And also the plastic shell helps keeping the performance over time, as I was mentioning. So it doesn't start like at the beginning of the season as very, very stiff, and then after 3 weeks of riding, very, very mellow, but it keeps his like stiffness over the time. So
I was surprised to hear. I always thought there was a lot more plastic inside, sandwiched in under the material. I always thought there was more plastic inside a standard snowboard boot through the years, but no, it's what's really the core of most standard snowboard boots.
Basically, it's fabric, EVA, and a lot of glue.
Yeah. Wow. So EVA, which is a foam. I mean, you can get it dense, but it's not going to give you a lot of structure.
Basically, it's all different kinds of foams. Yeah. Yeah,
So
we-
this is one of the first ones with a
Yeah.
high component amount of actual structural plastic, which shouldn't break down
No.
anywhere near as fast.
Yeah.
I would say I found that as well. Mine
Yeah.
feel pretty close to, really close to what they felt like on the first day, but at
Right.
the end of the season.
Also, it's premium plastic material. It's mainly used on ski touring boots. So, for example, usual plastic when it goes like minus 20 degrees or so gets hard and stiffer. This is not affected by that. So, keeps its performance over time and over temperature. So that's one
Cool.
of the main.
So is memory foam the industry standard for using inside snowboard boot liners?
Not really, not really. So we decided to use memory foam in the whole back part, from the top down to the ankles, just to have the best possible fitting performances.
Yeah, I mean, it has such a nice feel, and I would totally agree. Every morning I put them on, I'm like, oh, it's got me.
Yeah,
Brilliant. So another aspect of material that shouldn't break down.
exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
So we got to thank Angelo again for the real deal tech.
That was like the nerdy guts
That's the
of
proper
this
stuff.
boot.
Enough of us rambling along. That was the goods. But as always, guys, hope you're enjoying these. Again, like and subscribe. I know we always ask. It just helps the algorithm, does the thing. We're brought to you by Cole Headwear, Baldface Lodge, Tribute Board Shop, Sanction Snow and Skate out in Toronto, our sister shop. We're also brought to you by Spiral Wax, Tim's Killer Wax Company. We've got some of that kicking around here. Check that out this season. You'll be seeing more of this on the show. We're going to do some product testing and launching our own wax with Tim. We've launched the t-shirts on the website, riderslounge.ca. Patreon's rocking as always. Ask us the super deep questions there because we have more time to go through it. And you guys, let us know if any of you have picked up a pair already. This boot launched today, the Reset Pro, which is pretty awesome. I've seen it on a couple websites already. Our box is not received, but it is upstairs, so we got to get to work here. But really stoked just to, I mean, yeah, 35 days and your boot looks like that,
so
Fawzy. I mean,
happy.
I'm
pretty super happy.
pretty
I
stoked
think
on
this
that.
might be the one where it's like you're getting at least a full season. If you're one of those hardcore riders, like 100 days a year, you're going to get an entire season or two out of this boot without performance loss.
Yeah, no, it's pretty awesome. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. We will. Oh, Fawzy's grabbing the other sponsor. I forgot.
I
you
didn't
know?
bring one, so I'm actually going to steal the demo one and have a This Is Coffee Rare. They're really good.
Matt's Amazing Backcountry Coffee. You guys should check that stuff out. Plugging our sponsors there. But thanks everyone for the support as always. Without you guys, I mean, we wouldn't still be doing this. So we really appreciate you. Fawzy, anything in closing?
Like and subscribe.
Yep. We gotta keep hitting you. And we'll see you on the next one.